Merry Christmas, Pittsburgh Steelers fans. The Steelers only needed 13 points to beat the Raiders during the Immaculate Reception, and they only needed 13 points to win last night to mark 50 years since the Immaculate Reception and retiring Franco Harris's number 32 jersey. Before I react to last night's Christmas Eve win, today's episode of the Bleav in Steelers show is brought to you by betonline.ag. Betonline.ag takes care of all of your gambling needs this NFL season. There's an NFL triple header today as well. If you want to place a bet on the action while you're opening gifts, enjoying the holiday festivities, betonline.ag is the place to do it. Use our promo code Bleav, that's BLEAV, to get started. Bet online where the game starts. Steelers honor Franco Harris in what was an emotional moment. I'm going to start right off the top. I didn't agree with the NFL Network's decision to cut away from the video tribute portion of the halftime show. Now, I understand there's commercials that they need to get to. Thankfully, if you do want to see that, the Steelers did stream the tribute video for Franco Harris on the team's Twitter page. So if you want to check that out there, some really great vintage old school footage of Franco Harris. But like 50 years ago, it was only 13 points against the Raiders, 13 points last night, and it was yet another rookie scoring. Kenny Pickett finds George Pickens with less than a minute left. And what happens when you get George Pickens the ball? Good things happen. I want to see him targeted more and more in this offense. And honestly, I credit Pickett because a lot of the plays that he was making were just kind of out of the sandlot, wasn't really scheme. Really disappointed with only 13 points, but certainly weather conditions also played a factor last night. You have to consider this was the second coldest game in Steelers franchise history with like -10 wind chill. There weren't a lot of fans there last night either. There were, but you could see when they did cutaways of Acrisure Stadium, there were a lot of empty seats just given how cold it was in Pittsburgh on Christmas Eve. But the Steelers rally late, and the offensive struggles were one thing. I don't think Chris Boswell played a great game. He missed 2 field goals. I understand he's coming back from that groin injury. Think that could contribute to that. But he's got to perform better considering you gave him a massive contract extension just ahead of the season. I will say this. Last night, Cam Heyward played out of his mind. 7 tackles. He had 3 tackles for loss, 2 quarterback hits, 2 sacks, and a pass deflection. And he was the one carrying the flag out, the number 32 for Franco Harris. It's players like Cam that understand what it means with the Steelers' legacy. And I thought he played his best game of the season. And you could see how much it meant to him, even in the post game, where pretty much every single Steelers player, head coach Mike Tomlin also wore a number 32 jersey into Acrisure Stadium last night. It shows you how much Franco meant to this franchise, to this organization, and to this city. And they come out a winner. They stay and keep their playoff hopes alive. Mike Tomlin still does not have a sub 500 season, and you remain a long shot for the playoffs. Now, again, I don't think this will happen because you've got to go on the road against Baltimore next week, and then you host the Cleveland Browns in the final week of the season, and you need some help because the Steelers, the way they're sitting right now, Patriots, Jets, Titans are all ahead of the Steelers. The Raiders are now behind the Steelers after last night's game, but you find a way to win. How about that last drive by Kenny Pickett? He was, for the night, he was 26 of 39, 244 yards passing, a touchdown and an interception. Freiermuth had 7 catches, 66 yards. Najee Harris, 95 total yards for the Steelers. Steelers improved to 7-8. They've won 5 of their last 7 games and 4 of their last 5. Najee Harris, the best Najee is Air Najee, hurdling over a defender. And I was watching the game with my dad. It was almost like he remembered when Najee did that when he was at Alabama, hurdling over the Notre Dame defender. Well, what's old is new again. And Najee Harris able to make some plays, some swing passes out of the backfield where it's like, can we scheme something up to where we can create openings for the receivers? And I really just think it was the players' ability to get open and to make plays down the stretch. Pickett on the game-winning drive, 7 of 9, 75 yards, and 138.4 passer rating in the game-winning touchdown pass to George Pickens. You see what happens when George Pickens gets the football. And I would like to see him targeted at least 5 times a game, between 5 and 10 times a game. See what happens when you consistently target him and force defenses to stop him. He, in my opinion, is the most talented player on that Steelers offense. And it was great to see yet another rookie score to get to 13 points. And that was the difference in this one, as it was 50 years ago. Derek Carr threw 3 interceptions for the Raiders. Credit Arthur Millette for making a great play, Minkah Fitzpatrick, and Cam Sutton at the end. He's in a contract season. I don't think he's a number one corner. He might be a guy the Steelers want to stick around and re-sign next season. He can be your number 2 corner. He can also play in the slot. But it was a heck of a catch by Cam Sutton, which gave the ball back to the Steelers with less than a minute left. The end round to Connor Heyward sealed it for the Steelers, and they were able to run out the clock and win in homage to the late, great Franco Harris. And thought it was a great moment at halftime. Again, if you missed the video tribute because the NFL Network cut away, the Steelers Twitter account streamed the video tribute that they put together. They had Mean Joe Green, Terry Bradshaw, some of the Steelers greats comment and honor a legend. And I thought it was really cool at halftime too. They had members of the 1972 team there. First Steelers playoff win in team history. The Steelers' first touchdown in franchise playoff history as well during Franco Harris's rookie season all the way back in 1972. And now remember, the Steelers didn't actually win the Super Bowl till 1974. And in the following postseason, 1973, Steelers actually lost to the Raiders the following postseason. So what used to be an epic rivalry in the NFL between the Steelers and Raiders. And last night's game wasn't a particularly great game down the stretch, but it was certainly exciting. And again, weather definitely played a factor because and the commentators were saying this, how some of the quarterbacks, both Pickett and Derek Carr, were throwing high and missing high consistently. And so Pickett only intercepted once on what was a bad throw. Thought the Steelers put a little bit too much pressure on Pickett at that point in the game. I want to see Najee and Jalen Warren continue to get going on the ground. But Derek Carr as well, 3 interceptions, and the Steelers defense came to play last night. There is no doubt about that. I was very impressed with the Steelers defense. And really, other than that opening drive, the touchdown to Hunter Renfrow, I thought the defense played a great game. And then if Chris Boswell makes his field goals last night, and again, weather plays a factor, he's coming back from his groin injury and everything, maybe that deficit's even larger and maybe the Steelers win by even more, but they're able to get it done last night. I was frustrated with the offensive play calling on Boswell's last field goal. It's like a 3rd and 8 conversion, and they throw like a 2 or 3 yard hitch pass to George Pickens well short of the sticks. I'll be honest, I didn't understand that play, and maybe you set up a little bit more of a manageable field goal with like a 2 or 3 yard completion, but why not throw to the sticks in that situation? And I'm going to trust Chris Boswell, even though he had missed 2 to that point in the game, that as one of the league's highest paid kickers, he's going to knock it through. He's not having a great season again. He's coming off that groin injury. And again, weather's certainly a factor here, especially this late in the year in Pittsburgh. It's going to play a role, but you hope he can get some redemption. And he at least made that field goal late in the 4th quarter. And then when the Steelers get the ball back, they have a game-winning drive where Pickett leads them down the field. He finds Freiermuth. Najee, I've noticed since the bye week, has gone north and south. He has made that adjustment to his game, whether he's 100% or not. But it's something I think Deontay Johnson could learn from. Deontay Johnson gets a lot of flack for running backwards. Stick your foot in the ground, get what you can. And if you need to go down, go down. But trying to avoid defenders and running backwards and giving up crucial yardage, especially when points are a premium, get as much yardage as you can, go north and south and get what you can. And if not, cover up, put 2 hands in the ball, go down and survive for the next play. I'd still like to see Deontay Johnson get into the end zone. That still has not happened to this point in the season, coming off a Pro Bowl season a year ago, but we'll see. And the Steelers, again, still in the playoff hunt. I don't expect they'll make it. They would need chaos to happen. I was hearing a report this morning that there's about a 20% chance that the Steelers make the playoffs, but they faced longer shot odds a year ago when they needed to beat the Ravens in the final week of the season. And then remember, the Jags had to upset the Colts in the final week of the season. So we'll see what happens with 2 divisional opponents in the Ravens and Browns to close out the season. And then again, the Steelers would need to get some help from other teams. I would personally like to see them get a better draft pick, because if this Steelers team does sneak into the playoffs, while that experience could be valuable for some of the young players on this team, like rookie quarterback Kenny Pickett, there is zero chance that this team does anything. Point blank period. I don't think this is a very good football team right now, but they find ways to win, and they do have playmakers that can change the course of a game. And last night, to me, it was Cam Heyward who demonstrated the ability to do that at the defensive tackle position. So that's kind of where I'm at with everything. And at least you pay homage to the legend on the night where he is only the third Steelers player in franchise history. Think about all the dozens of Hall of Famers. Only the third player in franchise history to have his jersey officially retired by the team. Quite a moment, and you get it done against Raiders in what used to be one of the NFL's best rivalries. Hope all of you have Merry Christmases, Happy Holidays. Hope you enjoyed watching. My name's Mark Bergin. I'll be back with Ike Taylor tomorrow reacting to this game, reacting to all the games this weekend. There were a ton on Saturday. Again, we got a triple header today on Christmas Day. So enjoy the NFL action. Enjoy the time with your friends, family, and loved ones. Enjoy the NFL action too. Go ahead and sign off here. Merry Christmas, everyone. I'll see you next time. So long, everybody.